Hello everyone, welcome to Funguy's Kitchen. I'm Funguy The Entertainer, and today I'm going to cook something completely different, something I've never done before. I'm actually going to use somebody else's recipe and modify it a little bit to fit my personal taste. But we're going to do this from scratch. This is a German meal. I'm going to make Schnitzel, pork Schnitzel, because you can obviously have, veal, chicken, pork, beef, even Wiener Schnitzel. But today's going to be pork Schnitzel. I'm also going to make a caper sauce to go on it. And I'm going to do something else I've never had before. I'm going to make Schnitzel. It's a traditional German egg pasta. So, not sure how this is going to come out, but we're going to have some fun with this because, as you know, sometimes mistakes are more fun than getting it right. Well, let's see how we do this. What you're going to need is you're going to need pork or whatever meat you choose, but today we're going to use pork. What I have done, normally they say use a boneless pork chop. Boneless pork chops are kind of expensive. So what I have decided to try to do, they Piggly Wiggly, who of course, as you know, is our meat sponsor, had pork loin on sale, pork loin roast. So what I decided to do is buy that because the price was really, really reasonable. And I'm going to, before we even start slicing this, it takes 17 minutes to cook the Spätzle. Once we are done with the meat, it takes like 6 minutes. It also takes probably 5 minutes for the water to boil. So what we're gonna do is I have 2 quarts of water, because I'm only gonna use half the bag, which is roughly 8 ounces of Spätzle. We're going to turn the front burner on to start heating the water. For every 4 ounces of Spätzle you put in there, you need a teaspoon of salt. Since I'm putting 8, I just realized my measuring spoons are not hanging where they're supposed to be hanging. Interesting. Let's see what happened to them. There they are, they're in the drawer. So what we need is 2 teaspoons. And here's the teaspoon measure. So we're going to put 2 teaspoons of salt in the water as it's getting ready to boil. Okay, now we're going to take the pork loin. You're going to end up hammering it thin. That's the whole trick to this. There's you can cut it, you say, well, I'm going to just cut it thin and be done with it. When you hammer it, you're tenderizing it. The whole purpose of this particular meal is to take meat and make it even more tender. So, since you want this to end up being at about a 1/4 inch thick, you start at about 3/4 of an inch when you slice these. So, let's slice this pork at about 3/4 of an inch. Alright, see, this is coming up pretty good. Remember, make sure, I cut this one a little bit too thin, but that's alright. Make sure you always sharpen your knife before you start cutting. I have learned to sharpen my blades before I start the show because a few people were really freaked out with how fast I use a sharpening steel. And I don't want people to freak out. And of course, apparently, there's a lot of people that see something and say, oh, I can do that. And then, of course, they realize after they've, put a giant slice in their hand, maybe they should have done it a lot slower until they got into the swing of it. I didn't used to do it fast when I first started working in the restaurant business, and the chef would say, hey, sharpen my blades. Sometimes you do, most of the time you don't touch a chef's blades. But when they tell you to, that's because they're trying to teach you. And the first thing he says, take your time, learn how to do it, build up your speed over time. There's no hurry, you're in training. So, keep that in mind when you go to do this. All right, that is all done. Now, what you need is a meat hammer. There's a tenderizing side and a flat side. I'm going to use the tenderizing side. I realize that since this is not a commercial kitchen, I'm a little short on space. So let's open this up. Look how easy this is. Look, see how thin that got? That's what you want. You can do both sides. Helps tenderize it. Okay, I probably should have had a pan ready for these. Let's grab a pan out here. All right, that one was one of the thinnest ones I sliced because it was the end piece. So this is going to be a little harder to do, but it'll still do it. See? Now, needless to say, it's really loud. I apologize for that, but it's what makes this work. We'll turn it over. And again, make sure you don't smash your fingers. It will hurt just like hitting it with a regular hammer. But look, see? That looks really good. That's what you want. This is kind of fun. It's one of the advantages to having the experience in the kitchen that I do have, even though I've never done this before. The concept made perfect sense. I have a steak tenderizer that I think I did in one of my other shows when I did the porterhouse steaks. So if you go back to the porterhouse steak show, you can see how a steak tenderizer works. It uses pins, and there's lots of them. You go bam, 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 and what it does is it pokes the seasoning right into the meat, which is really cool. But on Schnitzel, you don't need to put the seasoning in the meat because you're making it so thin. You're going to put the seasoning on the outside, and that's all it needs because it's so thin. I'm probably going to have to check the volume on this because if it's too obnoxious, I'll bring the volume down for you guys. I never anticipated how loud this was going to be, so I do apologize. Now, there is another way to do this. If you don't want to make this kind of noise, let's say you got a sleeping baby in the house or whatever, you can use a rolling pin and put it between two sheets of wax paper, or you notice I have these silicone mats, which I use for cutting and stuff. Put it between the two layers of the silicone, take the rolling pin and squish it. You can do that. It's a lot quieter, but it's a lot harder because pork is not, it's not like some of the higher quality pieces of beef that are so tender even when they're raw. Pork is thick, heavy. It's a dense meat. What I'm going to do, because it's going to take me a while to do all these, I'm going to go on pause and come back. That way you don't have to listen to the banging. Be right back. Okay, we got all that done. Now it's, you see the water came to a boil, which is good timing. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the Schnitzel in the water, half the bag. Schnitzel is basically a noodle. It's just a German type of noodle. It's a little different. It almost looks like those Chinese dry noodles that they give you to put on in your soup. So we want to put half the bag in here. There we go. That's about half the bag. Okay. Keep a spoon handy because you're going to stir this. Set a timer for, I believe it was 17 minutes. Let's double check this. 17 minutes, yes. So, grab the timer, set it for 17 minutes. There we go. Give it a stir. Just like most noodles, you're going to bring it to a full boil and then reduce the heat and let it slow cook. Now we're time to start working on the Schnitzel. What you need is a cup of flour, a cup of breadcrumbs. I probably would have liked panko crumbs on this. One of the recipes I saw said panko breadcrumbs, but I did not have any. So I'm using French toast crumbs. I love French toast. This is from Ganella. Ganella I've loved their breads for years. Grew up on it. and 2 eggs, and lemon, salt, and pepper. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your 2 eggs in a bowl. We're going to do this over the sink. And then you're going to add lemon sauce. You can use a real lemon. You can squeeze a real lemon, but all you need is 1 tablespoon of lemon juice mixed in with the eggs. So this is a tablespoon, not a teaspoon. So here's the tablespoon. Oops. I forgot you can't squeeze the bottle while you're doing this. It just squirted all over the place. And then you whisk this together. I don't see my small whisk, so I'll just use a fork. I just realized there's something I forgot. We need to season the pork that we flattened. Oops. Let's stir this to bring the heat down. It's at a boil already. Medium low is all you need to keep it at a boil. All right, let's grab a longer pan. I should have done that the first time. No, actually we don't need a pan. We can just use another one of these sheets. This will work. All right. What you do is you lay these out flat. Okay, make sure there's enough room. You should be able to get 6 of them on here. Yep. I gotta wash the fingers real quick. Otherwise you're putting raw meat on the shakers. All right, then put salt and pepper right on top. Again, I'm using my coarse brown pepper. It's going to serve multiple purposes. It makes it so you can see where it's going, and I like the taste of the coarse ground a little better. You can use regular if you want. Okay. Now we turn these over. You know, I probably should have checked with the recipe. Did it say to do, nope, you only have to do one side. Okay, good thing I looked. Now, what I'm going to do is put the other ones on top, because all this wants to be done is you're going to go right off the one pan. Once you start cooking, you're not going to want to stop. So, that's how we'll do this. See, folks, I'm learning on this one too. Isn't this fun? Okay. We'll salt these 4 that I just put up here. And then put pepper on them. Now the cool thing is we can let these sit for a little while we get the pan to cook them in ready. It'll allow the salt and pepper to soak into the meat a little bit more, which is awesome. Now we can get rid of this. We'll move this over to here. Now, take your frying pan. Now you need your oil. You can use vegetable oil. I have switched mostly to olive oil. This is actually a blend. This is Mediterranean blend, which is a 20% olive oil. I believe it's sunflower. Yeah, sunflower oil. I like it. It has a nice crisp taste, and it's more healthy for you. Make sure you have a good covering. You want about 1/8 of an inch of oil on the bottom of the pan. Okay, now let's give this a stir. These noodles are looking pretty good. We're down to 11.5 minutes on that. This is going to go really, really fast. So what I'm going to start doing is getting the sauce ready. So to do the caper lemon sauce, what you need is capers. Capers are really cool looking little things. Butter, more lemon juice, salt and pepper. If you use savory or you have savory available, you'll need a teaspoon of that. I do not, so I'm using Italian seasoning blend, which has rosemary, thyme, has oregano and basil in it. It's not ideal, but it will serve the purpose. I did not think to look for savory. I don't know if it's available around here in Wisconsin. It probably is, since there's a lot of Germans living here. So let's see, what do I need first? I need a small bowl to crush the capers, that's right. All right, we have a small bowl. Let's get this out of the way for a moment. I don't think we need the caper sauce. I think all we need is the capers. So, let's see what it says. It says 1 tablespoon of capers. We have actually quite a few, so I'm going to double the recipe on this. So we're going to use 2 tablespoons of capers. Tablespoons. What I'm doing is putting the capers in the bowl, and then I'll pour the juice back in so that the rest of the capers don't dry out. Do this over the sink in case I make a mess, which I probably will. All right, that worked out pretty good. I did not make a mess. Check that out, folks. No mess. All right. Now, take a spoon. I'm just going to use a normal everyday tablespoon or teaspoon and crush these with the back of the spoon. Now, the sauce that I had small capers in it that were not crushed. They were left whole. But since I have the bigger ones, we're crushing these. Okay, that looks pretty interesting. Now it says that I'm supposed to melt a half teaspoon, but since I'm doubling it, we're going to do 1 teaspoon of butter. Okay. I do have butter here. Now, a teaspoon is this. So we'll put that in there. And it says to melt it over medium-high heat until the butter foams and is golden. Oh. Yes, and then put the capers in it and saute them for about 15 seconds. Then add the lemon juice, bring it to a simmer, cook, stirring frequently until the liquid is reduced by 1/3, which should take between 1 and 3 minutes. Season with salt and pepper, and it's done. So this is actually also really a quick thing. So I think what we'll do is we're going to make this sauce and then fry this, because then the sauce will be ready to go over it. We're down to 7.5 minutes on the Schnitzel. So that's coming close. You can see, actually, it probably needs to go up just a fraction. Yep, there we go. Got to get the bibbles. The meat's ready to go. Let's get the rest of the butter off the spoon. There we go. Get out of the way. It says to bring this up so it foams, as it looks like it's getting close. Yep, there we go. This doesn't take long. Okay, now we'll add our capers. You gotta remember not to lean over because it blocks the camera. With my hat, my chef's hat. Okay, now it says takes 15 seconds, so this isn't going to take long at all. Oh yeah, I can smell it already. Wow, that smells good. All right, it says to use 2 lemons juiced. So what I'm going to anticipate is that each lemon is a tablespoon. So I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of lemon juice in here. Again, I got to remember not to squeeze this bottle. Okay, there's 1 and 2. All right, now this needs to cook from 1 to 3 minutes till it reduces down a little bit. All right, now we're going to turn the heat on. Oops, wrong order. On the oil. Again, you're going to want medium-high. These are going to need to cook fast. The one thing I don't like about cooking fast in grease without a lid is the splatter. We're going to have splatter. You can't help it on this, but I've had schnitzel. It's worth the mess. It really is. Okay, got this ready. Let's stir this again. I'm really not exactly sure how the sauce is going to cover as much as I need it to cover. Oh, because I'm adding 2 more tablespoons of butter cold once it's done. That's why. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat off on the capers. Looks like it's about done. I need 2 tablespoons of cold butter. Okay, actually, yeah, 2 tablespoons of cold butter is what they call for, but I'm doubling, so I need 4, so that's a half a stick. There's where I get my juice that I need. Okay, what do I do with my spoon? There it is. Okay, put it in there. Let the heat gradually melt that, and that's about done. All right, this is getting close. Let me get a platter. Okay, I have a platter ready for when these are done. Okay, oh, I forgot to add the savory, so I gotta put that in here now. Okay, that should be enough. And it did say put salt and pepper in there also, which I did not do. Okay. What I will also do, obviously, as you know, if you've been watching my videos, I will put the recipe up so you can see how to do this. And then, of course, after you watch the video, you say, okay, here's where you screwed up. This is how we can fix this problem. Okay, this looks good. Let's stir this around a little bit more. Oh yeah, see, now this is what I'm used to seeing. Okay. There's also cream version. I was thinking about doing the cream version because I've had it and I really liked it. But since this is the first time I'm making this, the cream version is a lot more labor intensive. And I wanted to make sure I can do this at least once as practice until I have time to do it. All right, now it's time to start doing this. The eggs are all whipped up. First thing you do is you put the meat in the flour. Cover both sides, or coat both sides with the flour. Then you drop it in the butter, not butter, the egg. Let the excess drip off. Then you put the breadcrumbs on. And put it in the pan. Whoa! Yep, it's hot. That's what I don't like about starting the oil hot first, but it's the only way this works, otherwise you'll have a greasy mess instead of delicious schnitzel. Okay. This is actually not too difficult. I'm probably going to have to put more in here because I've got so many pieces. The recipe was for 4 pieces of schnitzel, and needless to say, I have at least 8. I have 10. So that's why I'm running out of stuff in my bowls, but that's okay because I'm only going to make the 4 to begin with right now, and then the other ones will be for later. Oh, that's because I got the lemon juice in here. That got a little sticky. Okay. That means the spatzel's done. Get the timer. Take this off. Strain it. Got my spatula handy. It should only take roughly 3-4 minutes on each side to cook. So figure 3 or 4 minutes, turn it over 3 or 4 minutes, and then those are done. The sauce is about done. All right, yes, look, that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Now, we'll take the spatzel, put it back in the pot. You put whatever sauce you want on the spatzel. Looks like the first ones are ready to turn. Oh yeah, look at that. See, that's what it should look like. Okay. Oh, gotta love the phone calls. That means people want me. All right, this is not anybody I know either. As I told you before, the only reason I keep the phone close to me is in case I do get somebody that I know, like one of my, because it's fun. It's like, you know, being on the radio. What I'm going to use on my spatzel, I'm not really 100% positive. I'm going to have to figure that out a little bit here. But basically, this is it. Once the schnitzel is done, which is like 2 more minutes, you take it out, put it on the platter here. You can serve it, put the caper sauce right over the top, put the spatzel on the side with whatever sauce you choose, and that's it. With the exception of smashing the meat, it's very simple. And actually, the smashing the meat's not that hard either. This whole process took half an hour for really good German food. You can't really beat that. The reason you cook it or you beat it thin is also so it cooks faster, but still stays moist on the inside. If you notice, I'll hold this up a little closer here. It's a little red here because that piece accidentally got folded and I didn't catch it right away. So I'm going to turn this piece over again and put this little piece here over in the middle where it's the hottest in the pan. As I'm sure you know, if you don't have commercial grade pans, all your pans will start to warp. You'll get a bow in the middle of your pan because that's where most of the heat is all the time and it starts to rise. So that's where all the heat ends up going as the pans get older. Even though this pan's only a year old, it's not commercial grade. So let's turn this over. Get that into the middle here. And that's looking pretty good. All right. Trying to think I'm figuring it out. Oh, that's right. If you would like to win dinner for 2 and a chance to be a guest on the show, make sure you subscribe. Put down, hi, I want to win dinner. If you have some friends that you think would get a kick out of this, tell them to subscribe and tell them to use your name. Say, hey, Joe told me to sign up for dinner. You'll get 2 entries. He'll get 1, or she. It's a generic thing like calling everybody guys or dudes. You have to be willing to be able to come to Delavan, Wisconsin. That's where we are. Or be local, you know what I mean. So I got a couple of people from far away that are willing to come because I think it's kind of cool. And they get a free dinner out of it, and they can visit around Lake Geneva, Delavan area. All right, these look done. Take them out. Double check this one. I'm going to go, because that's a little thick there also, I'm going to give this one just another couple minutes, or another minute and a half. All right, so that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, like, subscribe, and share. Pass this around. Let people know how much fun this is. And once again, I'm Funguy the Entertainer, cooking for you.